If you are tuning in, we are currently at the end of a live recording session for the podcast, and we've just opened up a speed round where we're going to answer any questions that pop up into the chat. So let me read this first one out, and then Amy, you can answer first, and I will weigh in quickly afterwards. Favorite tools for client comms? Asana, Notion, ClickUp, no idea where to start.
I've been really tricky with tools. I find Notion is the easiest of all of them. I really love Trello. I really love that whole Kanban concept, and I've tried it so many times, and I think this is finally going to discipline me, and it doesn't. I need something that's a little messier, and Notion allows for a little bit more not so structured. So that's the only thing that's worked for me. Years ago I used Basecamp, and like I know it's so funny. I saw someone using that again this week, and that thing actually disciplined me.
I've actually never successfully used any of these. I hate them all. Controversial. I just feel like I love when I'm just using tools that I'm already having open. So when I was doing one-to-one like launch projects, I would literally have a bunch of like starter templates, for lack of a better word, in my drafts folder in my Gmail that I would tweak to match, whatever conversation I need to have with my clients at that point in time. At the moment, I really am just using like automations inside of my course platform. That's it. Otherwise, I have pen and paper calendar where all my tasks and stuff get noted. I'm old school and very uncool.
No, you're very cool. I'm very old school at the same time. And I rely on my calendar a lot, including, notes in my calendar about what to do. So I have to organize all the big picture things because I've got a lot of moving parts. And if I don't, I forget them. And so Notion is a great dumping ground for that, for me. Okay, Pinterest or Instagram for marketing yourself? I'm trying to avoid Instagram. Oh, Kirsty.
So I am on Instagram, but I don't know. I'm definitely falling out of love with it, I would say. I haven't actually ever used Pinterest for my business, but I know that the stats tell us that it's actually a really high potential platform because of the longevity of content on there. I actually think Jenna Kutcher has some resources on that, so she may be a good person to reference. Yeah, having had not used Pinterest, I can't comment. Instagram has historically worked really well for me. I'd say it's working less well for me now, but I'm also less active on there. So that's a relevant piece of context.
Neither of those platforms for me. Yeah, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I'm talking about Instagram. I haven't used Pinterest. I mean, I haven't used it, especially for business. It feels so effortful to me. I use it in that my assistant posts some stuff on it for me, and I've just started advertising on Meta, and so the stuff bleeds over onto Insta. But I don't know. I just, years ago when it was just a photo platform, I loved it. And when it became more businessy and when everyone was promoting this and this and that. So I've been trying to be on it a little bit more recently, and I find myself less nauseated by it.
The low bar.
It's a low bar.
Has this made me vomit today? No.
But I think where you feel comfortable is the place to be. Like where you feel you either enjoy being there or you can tolerate it. It was why I went to LinkedIn. I felt like at least I didn't have to have the pretense of being cute. Like it was all people were there for business. So I could be businesslike. And I'm not implying that you have to be cute, but I felt like I did, or I had to be much more chummy and cheerful than I was feeling.
I love this. For the record, I would be all here for like a grumpy P dog profile. Just telling it like it is.
And I'd be curious, like, yeah, I mean, like, I would be curious on your follow up to that, like what you're thinking with Instagram or Pinterest, and why you're avoiding Instagram. I have a client I mean, he's getting all his traction on Substack, and there are people who hate Substack and have reasons to hate Substack, but I mean, there are other places to go, I guess, depending on what kind of content that you have. Okay. Do you have a wind down or closing out routine for your days, however formal or informal? Oh, I know, P Dog. I know you do.
I definitely do. And look, mine is very much just of the era of my life that I'm in. But walking to daycare pickup, like just unless it's raining, which I actually get quite grumpy about and I have to drive. But yeah, just getting out of the house, getting the pram, walking down the road. Daycare's like a 10-minute walk away. So yeah, just being outside, like no earphones in. That really just helps me wind down and separate. Okay, business work is over, parenting work begins. What about you, Amy?
I like to end the day just making sure that I've clocked what I have to do the next day and sort of so that I track. And other than that, I mean, I'm working less than I have been this summer particularly, so it doesn't feel so black and white like, I used to be like I have to like have some way to wrap up the day and like get myself out of here because I wouldn't leave necessarily. So really it's just that I need to feel like I've got track of what I'm doing for the next day. Otherwise, it'll play in my head and things will pop up and now they'll pop up and be like, oh, don't I have to think about it. It's taken care of.
Yes,
So
I love that.
yeah,
Closing the loop. On the back of that, which is a good lead in, do you track how many hours you work per week? Would you share that number?
I don't at all. I would share the number that I think I work. I used to track really carefully and partly because I wanted to know the value of the time I was spending relative to the money I was bringing in. I don't do that so much anymore. And I'm going to guess that I work 20 to 25 hours a week, or I have been this summer, which is low for me. I mean, compared to my probably my past averages.
Yeah, interesting. I think I'm on about 20 hours a week at the moment too. I don't track, but just thinking I only work 4 days a week. I have the kids on Mondays. And then, yeah, I just feel like I also build time into my work days to just like exercise, swim in the sea. So, yeah, I'd say 5 hours a day on all my working days would probably be about average. And it feels good.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to break some real workaholic tendencies of working more than I kind of wanted to. Or I shouldn't say wanted to. It's a sticky wicket for me. But I've kind of sorted it out in that I just don't want to be in here as much as I once wanted to be. There's other things
Mhm.
that I'm doing, and I've deliberately gotten myself doing other things and interested in other things, so they take up time during the day. I book them during the day. And so I'm just not in here. And I don't work at night because it's not my thinking time.
I also feel like it's good to note that this is true for both of us, and we've both shifted our business models to support, facilitate, allow that too. Just worth
Mhm.
noting. Yeah.
Yep. And I like work. I mean, I like what I do. I just have to be careful not to have it take up all my time or be too identified through it and it uniquely, because that is a risk. Oh, a movie you've seen in the last month or two and loved. God, I just saw Penguin Lessons and I was sort of it was sort of a little depressing because it's about like fascist Argentina and I live in the States. So it's like a little bit heavy, but based on a true story and really just really freaking sweet and sad
I
too.
love that. I've not heard of it. Is it like a recent one or is it?
I don't know. It's on Netflix at the moment. Penguin Lessons. And I don't know. I am so into binging TV shows as my entertainment that I don't watch movies that much.
I cannot even think of the last time I watched a movie. I don't know. CF toddlers. But I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm watching shows more than movies. I'm trying to make my way through Too Much at the moment. Lena Dunham's new one. I don't know if I love it. I loved Girls, but this one just isn't grabbing me. Actually, I did really like Untamed, I think it's called, on Netflix with Eric Bana and Sam Neill. It's set in Yosemite. It's kind of like a crime show, but it's just really beautifully produced. So I'd recommend that in lieu of a movie.
The bear for the win, the bear for the absolute win of like the summer of the
Nice.
year of the decade.
We still haven't watched that. It's waiting for us. The chef one. Is that right?
Oh, it's such a treat.
Okay.
Okay, TV. Oh, you all have to type in what you're watching.
Yes,
Movies,
tell us.
TV. Because business is all well and good, but like we want to know, what are you reading? What are you watching?
Okay, next one here. To build or not to build an email as a done for you service provider? Should I just focus on pitching? Do you mean email list, Genevieve? Yes, email list. So
Ah,
pitch.
that is an excellent question. So one thing, if you're pitching consistently, one of the challenges people run into is how do you follow up? Right? Like, what do you say? How do you keep people in the loop? And so there's sort of two flows for that. One is to ask, can I keep in touch with you? And then you do that and you book it and you have unique things to say to that person. The other thing is you have a newsletter or you have some kind of regular email that you send out. And by regular, I don't mean you have to be like married to any kind of a schedule, but and that speaks to having a list. And so then if you have the list, now you're just naturally following up with everybody. I mean, you ask for permission, of course, and you get them on your list. Your pitch lands in one of three places. It lands in, as long as you're pitching to people who buy what you sell, your pitch lands in either, I have an immediate need. I was just like wondering where the hell you were. You've showed up. Brilliant. Let's do a project. It lands on the, I am interested, but I have somebody else doing that for me now let me sort of see who you are and maybe we'll do a project together. Or I buy what you sell, don't have a project need right now, but I will over time. And so if you get that raised hand of interest and someone's like, oh, I buy what you sell and I'm a little bit interested, you want to stay in touch with them and nurture them over time. And so your email list, doing that in conjunction is a really great idea. And if you have this newsletter, now you have a way to do it where you don't have to think about every single person on your list. Although you might, I mean, if there's somebody you particularly want to work with and they show an interest, you might, find things that are unique to them and get in touch every now and again. But that's my argument for doing both. And I think it really sort of amplifies the effort of doing the pitching because otherwise you could do a lot of pitching that go off into the ethers and there may be people who are well interested but they don't fall into that immediate category, which I'm guessing is 20% maybe of people that you pitch. And so I think that's a really good function of that. When you talk about list size comes up a lot, and people are bragging about their list size and this and that. Like in a service business and in a creative freelance business, you do not need a big list. You can make all the money you ever need to make with a list under 100 people. You really, really don't worry about that piece because I think a lot of people do.
I would totally back that up. And I would say that I was easily making six figures with, I think my list was still under 500 when I had my first six-figure year. So yeah, you really do not need a massive list. They need to be aligned with your offers and they need to be engaged. Those metrics are far more important than list size. And I would agree too, just to quickly put my 2 cents in, that it's really good to have both assets at play. And I think my take is slightly different to Amy's in that I think initially pitching is going to be a more valuable use of your time, but there will be a point in time at which the weight in your business shifts from you directly approaching people to people approaching you. And at that point in time, it's great to have an email list up and ready and waiting for people as a way to not only nurture your prospects, like Amy said, but also as a way that when you are so in demand, you can actually just reach out to that list with an email saying, hey, I've got an opening next month for this kind of project. It just becomes such a valuable asset. So yes, to having both, and just knowing that I guess the value of those things will be weighted more towards your list as time goes on.
Excellent point. I think we have one more, and that is how long did it take you in business to get to the point where you felt like you could confidently do 20 hours a week? When did those systems build enough that it felt like you could step back?
Good question. So I think for me, it was actually just more about what my life allowed. And again, it's kids, so I feel like I'm just like, Johnny One Note, but it's true. So I was definitely working, like before I had my first kid, I was working 5 days a week, and I was probably working like 7 hour days, so 35 hours a week. So not, not huge amounts, but definitely a lot more than I am now. And I think part of being able to confidently wind that back is just born out of my very strong belief that a good business will support the life you want to live. And for me now, that looks like spending less hours at the laptop and more time outside of work with my family, etc. And also, I think a result of the fact too that I'm quite confident in the value that I offer, which makes it easier for me to sell things. So I think that also comes into it too, just in terms of I'm not spending hours drafting one email, or I'm not trying to sell a bunch of really cheap offers or low priced offers to people. So there's definitely an element of confidence and scale that sits in there too.
So for me, it was really two things, I think, like having enough lead flow that I could confidently keep raising my prices with the understanding that my idea wasn't to raise prices until the market went bust. I mean, it was all like fair within fair trade time, talent for money. But so having enough inquiries allowed me to keep raising my prices. And then my goal was to get to a certain point of efficiency with my work so that I could do the work quickly and so that I was making the money that I wanted to make. And for me, what that looked like was doing enough of the same kind of work that I wasn't reinventing the wheel or taking too steep a learning curve. Because early in my career, I was like, I wanted to do everything because I was really curious and I wanted to learn everything. And then I realized if I kept doing the same things over and over, that I got more efficient at doing the thing and I could do it more quickly while charging more money for it because I was getting better at the thing. And the third element of that was doing enough marketing so that there was a constant lead flow so that that was being adequately fed. And my thing was never, oh, I'll just stay here so I can get up to this amount and then I'll get up to that amount and that amount. It was like, I wasn't driven by money. I was driven by enough money to be very comfortable and put some money away and have a life. Where I know some people, it's like they just want increasing amounts of money till, and that's the goal. That wasn't my goal. My goal was to earn really well, but keep it within confines. And those were the three levers that worked in conjunction to get me to that point. And I think you asked how long did it take? I think for me it was maybe in my freelance business specifically, it was maybe 3 to 4 years till I got all those sort of moving parts sorted, and maybe 5 years until like it was a really smooth machine.
And sorry, I didn't answer that part of the question. I think it was 5 years for me too, because I started, I think, in 2016. And then I think I was around 20 hours a week by 2021 when I came back after my first round of maternity leave. So, yeah, about that time.
On that note, shall we wrap up?
Yeah. Thank you for sticking around for the slowest speed round in history. Thank you for all these wonderful questions. And I hope if you are listening to this at a future date, you got something out of that one too. If you have any other questions that you would like us to tackle on a future episode, and who knows, we might do another speed round in future if we get an influx, head on over to businessbadass.co and you will find the question submission form waiting for you there.
So thanks for listening, and thanks to our live audience for all your patience and all your great questions. Mwah!
Thank you.